Hello and welcome. Happy Tuesday, everybody. You are live with Sandra, and it's all about choices, where every Tuesday I have the pleasure of dishing out your weekly dose of nutrition news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I hope that everybody has had a wonderful weekend so far, or I hope you had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. I want to thank those who tune in live. Thank you for doing that on a regular basis. I appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate your engagement. I appreciate you tuning in, spending a little time for yourself. I hope you're eating lunch. And those who are listening to the replay, I thank you for pausing, taking some time out of your schedule to tune in and to again gain some information. And those who are tuning in via the replay, please chime in. I want you to feel like you are part of this live experience, just like everybody else. And I really look forward each and every week to joining you and just bringing information to you and engaging with you each one on one. And so we are in December. We're starting a new theme, talking about 'tis the season to be jolly, food galore, specifically food galore, right? And so we are talking about sweets and comfort foods, sweet delights and comfort foods. How do you indulge and avoid the holiday weight gain? And I am recommending that you cave into your cravings, huh? So a little different twist, huh? Cave into your cravings. So we're going to talk more about that. And as you are tuning in, please feel free to say hello to me. And hi, Ronnie. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in and saying hello. I am going to get my windows together. So give me 1 second to see if I can get my windows to a place where I can look and see your names and listen to your engagements and read your engagement posts. So I am getting my second window set up. So give me 1 second. And I should have the ability to engage with each and every one of you. Let me get one more window set up. Facebook changes. I'm still trying to get used to this new look and this new feel. So it looks like I can engage at least in one window. And so I will look for your comments as best as I can. And if not, worst case scenario, I will reply to the replay. Okay. I'll reply in the comments. And so we are in my opinion, month two of this holiday season. And so we got holiday, we got goodies, we got cookies, we got candy, fruit cakes, pies, you name it, galore, right? And so holiday comfort foods, right? We have that on top of the desserts. We have the dressing, the casserole, the mac and cheese, fried turkey, ham, again, food everywhere, and holiday spirits. Okay, how can we forget holiday spirits? And I will talk about that during next week's live. And so many of us have started stocking up and eating on the holiday treats as they appear on the shelf since November, right? We had Thanksgiving. So for some of you, you have a chance to do it again. If you didn't make it through Thanksgiving so well, here's a chance to do it again. And so the bottom line is the holiday season is all about celebrating togetherness and indulging. We are going to indulge in moderation. And so I'm going to dish out 7 proven tips on holiday eating that are guaranteed to help you to avoid the weight gain. So I really don't encourage losing weight during the holiday season unless you are at that stage where it doesn't matter that it's the holiday, it's just another day regarding, at least in regards to food and all of that. Then hey, yeah, you do have a great opportunity to lose weight if you are doing the things that promote weight loss. But if not, maintaining your weight is a great success. So I always encourage yourself to at least curtail the weight gain, and then the new year comes in, then you jump back on the bandwagon. And so for those who don't know me, my name is Sandra Gultry, and I am a registered dietitian. And this time of the year, specifically this month, I just want to get you through the holidays without the unwanted extra weight gain going into the new year. And so while at the same time you want to enjoy the holiday delights without feeling guilty, right? And feeling like you must avoid some of your holiday favorite foods, because a lot of times this is the one time of the year where you even have that food. So you want to enjoy it. So simple as that, simple as that. And so we're starting a new theme for December. 'Tis the season to be jolly, food galore. And for those who are tuning in, we're talking about it's all about how to indulge and avoid the holiday weight gain. We're talking about sweets and comfort food specifically. And I'm encouraging you to cave into your cravings, but there is a way to do that. And so as you're tuning in, definitely say hello to me. Feel free to give me a shout out. Tell me your name, where you're tuning in from, and I will look for those comments as they come in. And so let's talk about these 7 practical tips. And so I encourage you to stay to the end. I'm going to show you how to put these 7 tips into practice. And just to give you a sneak peek, just in case you cannot stay to the end, I'm going to put this in the comments. This is an opportunity for, again, like I say, for you to put some of this stuff to practice that we talk about, because it's great to have tips and it's great to have tools and strategies, but how do you make it work? How do you actually put it to action? And so this is an example of one way you can do that. And I'll talk more about this link when we get to the end. And so let's start with my holiday poll. I always like to poll my audience. And so depending on where you live, were you surprised to see Christmas decorations out on the shelf like after Labor Day? So that's September. Seems like we're getting earlier and earlier each year. So if you were surprised, not really, or you just didn't even notice, but people were starting to put out some holiday stuff back in September. I remember back in the day when I was growing up, it was the day after Thanksgiving. That's when everything kicked in for Christmas. So we at least made it to Thanksgiving. But now that is not the case, not the case. So let's jump right on in and I will look for some comments. You doing good? You were surprised? Thank you. Yep, I was surprised too, Ronnie. It gets earlier and earlier every year. I guess maybe I'm waiting for 4th of July and we start seeing Christmas stuff, right? All right, so let's jump into our first topic. Let me get my banner going up. So tip number 1, holiday survival tip number 1. So we want to regulate our added sugar. Okay, so this is definitely the time of the year where sugar galore. So we got the cookies, the cakes, the pies, nothing short of temptation, especially when it's homemade. So I have reached a point in my sweets journey where I can say no to store-bought stuff that I can get any time of the year. But when it's homemade, yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And so, but we know that added sugar in excess may lead to risk of cardiovascular disease, obesity, things like that. So we all know all the health risks. But stick to sugar that comes in its natural form. Okay, now we're talking about the events before and the events after. Okay, the big feast. So natural form, that's your fruits, your veggies, your whole grains. You want to try smaller amounts of your desserts, okay? Especially if you're truly craving it. But we don't want to load up on bland cookies and things that are store-bought and things that you can just get anytime. We want to really save those indulgences for something that is truly just this time of the year, something that's homemade, but leading up to that occasion when you're going to have it, because you don't want to have it all day. Stock up on the natural things, the fruits, the veggies, the whole grains, because that's what's going to help you to not overindulge, okay, to the point where we feel sick, right? So have selectivity in your sweets, okay? You want it homemade, you want it good, ideally, or even if it is store-bought. There are some things that are seasonal that are store-bought, but if it's really, really good to you, then that is worth the splurge, okay? Make it worth it is the bottom line. Make it worth it. All right, number two, let's get number 2 up. All right, number 2, holiday survival tip, eat and chew slowly. Okay, we know we're supposed to do that. We're supposed to do that on any meal, but if it's good, we don't do that. So eating slow is not easy when you got appetizer options or endless. You see stuff just everywhere. But it pays to pace yourself. You want to pace yourself, especially if you're at holiday events and things like that. So the quicker we eat, the less time is true for our brain to get the memo that we are full. So it is a delay there. So eating slow helps increase the after meal, we call it the postprandial response of those gut hormones that regulates having a loss of appetite. So you need to give your body a chance to regulate all that stuff. So eating slow, talking, conversating, and that kind of kills some times too. So studies have shown that eating slow will lead to a decrease in energy intake or food intake with meals, especially with women. So we want to think about that. So that is number 2. So let's see how we rate with those that we have posted so far. So have you ever attempted to ditch added sugar? Like, have you ever just made that decision? I'm not going to eat any sugar. Okay. A lot of times people will say carbs, but have you made a specific effort to say, oh, I'm not going to have any added sugar? So have you tried that? or have you not tried that? Okay. And I generally, while you're posting though, I generally recommend that, this is unrealistic, really long term. It's really unreal. It really is unrealistic. Added sugar is in more foods than just sweets and baked goods. So it's in a lot of different things. And generally the problem lies when we're eating added sugar in excess. Okay, that's really what the problem lies in excess. And not taking in the recommended amount, daily amounts of the foods that our body needs. So when the added sugar foods, highly processed foods, is overtaking and overpowering our body getting the nutrients that it needs from natural foods and whole foods, and that's really when it becomes a problem. And so hence you have those increased cravings, you have the low energy, you have the weight gain, and then of course you have the health complications that go along with it. So think about all of that. So it's not like we need to just cut it out. A lot of times it just takes over what we need to eat. All right. And so she has, so as Ronnie said, that she has a bloating in the stomach, basically diminished a lot by eating a lot of it. Yes, you will feel bloated just like you will with salt, having too much sodium, especially. So again, you don't necessarily, oh, hey, Krista, I see you're on. She was surprised also. So I see some people tuning in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if anybody else tunes in, please feel free to say hello. But yeah, so it just kind of depends over time. And if it's overtaking the whole foods, then yes, you will feel bloated, you will feel heavy, and it will affect us. It will affect us over time, no doubt. So number 3, let's talk about number 3, holiday survival tip number 3. Okay, wait before grabbing seconds. Okay, this gets people every single time, because when we eat fast and then we jump right up, I'm still hungry, I want something else. And so we need to give our brain a chance to get the memo that we are full. So I say, 15, 20 minutes, just kind of sit there, talk, drink some water, take a walk, do something to kind of redirect, like we redirect our kids, try to redirect yourself, and then see if you really need that seconds, or is that something that you can just wait and have it later on. And in many cases, instead of having seconds, that's an opportunity to save room, so to speak, for the dessert, okay, versus having 2 full plates and then trying to eat dessert that just kind of packs on the calories. All right. And in many cases, our body doesn't need seconds. Just being honest with the way our body works. A lot of times we don't need the seconds. We just want it. Okay. We just want it. So give your body a chance to register that you have eaten. I mean, you have eaten. And with holiday foods, a little food packs a lot of calories. So you're getting it in. Trust me, you're getting it in. All righty. Number 4, holiday survival tip number 4, just say no. Okay, what do I mean by just say no? So I'm a firm believer that your friends and your family, with all intentions, all good intentions, they can make you fat, right? If you're on this weight loss kick, or you're trying to eat healthier, you're trying to live healthier, if you never exercise, now you're trying to start exercising, it's always some family member or some friend that is like, why are you doing that? or just being discouraging. So be careful with that. Okay, so even though your relatives, your friends, they may encourage you, may encourage overeating by encouraging you to have seconds, you got to clean your plate. There's a way to respectfully decline. Okay, and saying either I'm full, or I need to take a break, or should suffice for your friends and family members to kind of give you a little leeway there. And then you can decide later to have something. But there's ways to do it without being offensive, because I know in some cultures it is offensive to say no. So you don't want to say no. You want to say, oh, let me take a break, or I just ate, or things like that to at least indicate that basically not right now, maybe a little later. So think about that, because we all kind of have those old traditions where you got to finish your plate or else. So that's one reason to not have so much on your plate too. So if you know that that's the situation that you're in, or the environment that you're in, make sure you don't overstuff your plate to where you cannot eat it all. Okay, so think about that. Okay. Let's see here. I think I see some. All right. Yes, I'm glad you're enjoying this. And it's little things, and sometimes we just need little reminders. And then with some of this, people just don't even think about it. Okay, but it's the little things that really add up. All righty. And so my question: How do you feel when you go back for that second plate? So think of a time, maybe it was Thanksgiving. Let's go back a couple of weeks. Did you go back for seconds at Thanksgiving? Okay. After that, did you feel stuffed? Were you overstuffed, like you ready to take a nap stuffed, or did you just feel guilty? Like, did you saying, I know I shouldn't have did that type deal. I used to say that a lot. I know I really shouldn't have did that, but I didn't. And so it usually, it takes me over the edge of feeling from going from satisfied to just stuffed. And so think about it. You want to eat stuff later. You want to have that dessert later. So think about things like that. All right, so we are down to our last two tips. And let me see if I have any comments before I move into that. Stuffed. Yep, Krista said stuffed. And definitely feeling stuffed. And that is usually what happens, because when we eat so fast, especially if we go into that meal starving, usually that's a mistake that we make. And I do talk about this a lot, is we wait. We want to save our calories until dinner, which may happen at 5 o'clock for some people. So that means you went all day. You may have grazed a little bit, but in essence, you're starving when you go into that meal. And so you want everything in sight, and what do they say, your eyes bigger than your stomach. And so we tend to do that. And so how do we put all this to practice? Okay, so that is the URL that I had talked about. How do you put this into practice? And so here is a 3-day meal plan with recipes, prep guide, and step-by-step on basically what to eat, when to eat, how to eat it. And so this is some ideals on how you can put some of this stuff into practice on, now we can say, Christmas Day. So pick some meals from there, pick some snacks from there to kind of tide you over. So when you do have that meal, your big feast, you're not starving going into that meal. So it depends. Some people eat early, like 1. So maybe you just have breakfast. Depending on how late your breakfast is or how early it is, you may need to have a little small snack. Or if it's later in the day, you definitely want to have lunch. Breakfast as well as lunch. So again, you're not going into that meal starving, and you're able to make more sane choices, I like to say, versus going crazy when you see all the good food. All righty, let's go. And if you have any questions on that, but definitely download that and check and take a look at that. And so number 5, holiday survival tip number 5, cave into your cravings. So this is what was in the title today. With our sweets, we want to cave into our cravings. So you don't hear that very often, right? And you probably didn't think you'd hear that from a dietitian. And so it's highly recommended to acknowledge the few cravings that you do have instead of trying to push them off completely, okay? And it's during this time of the year, trying to have that strong-willed, you don't want to be strong-willed. It's not going to work, okay? It's a struggle enough during the year, right? So during the seasons when you have all this food, then it's definitely going to backfire. So you want to cave into your cravings as long as it's in moderation, okay? You can't curb the desire to go at it like a kid in the candy store if you fuel yourself properly leading up to the meal, and then recognize, oh, for me, it's homemade German chocolate cake. If that is in the house, I'm going to have it. Okay. I'm going to have it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to look forward to it. And that's how you should proceed, because I know this is something I don't get on a regular basis. And so when I see it, I'm going to want it. And so you don't want to overindulge and have the dessert. Okay. So forbidding a specific food or food group during the holiday season will only make it more attractive. Okay. And so, for example, what information or advice that I give my clients during the year, let's say ice cream is your thing. I would rather you go to the Baskin Robbins, pay $4 or $5 for a scoop of ice cream, get it out of your system, because fruit is not always going to suffice. If you really want an ice cream, then that's really what you need, because it's better to get that scoop, get it over with, than to have to binge on a whole gallon in another setting, and you're wondering, well, why did I do that? So you want to know your body enough to know when you really just need to have that little something, or when it's just, I'm bored and I'm just trying to emotionally eat or stress eat. So you got to really learn your body. And so those are things that I do help my clients with, because it can be tricky sometimes, but the first step is making sure you fuel properly to not get those signals mixed up. All right, holiday trick number 6. Let me see. I see a few comments here. Ronnie says she had German chocolate cake for Thanksgiving. I'm jealous. And let me see. I really try to increase my water intake if I cave in. So that is now that is actually a true statement as far as some things you hear about with nutrition. It's kind of a myth, or it's not necessary, or it's kind of extreme. But that is a good way to test for dehydration, because if you're not drinking enough water throughout the day, then sometimes a hunger pain can be masked as really dehydration. So that is good to drink, 8, 16 ounces of water. Give it 10, 15 minutes. If you're still thinking about it, then, or if your body is still feeling hungry, then that's a true sign that you are hungry. So a lot of other things come into that mix as well, because you got to make sure you've been fueling yourself throughout the day. So if you skipped breakfast, or you kind of had only coffee and some fruit for breakfast, and you kind of skipped on lunch, then there's a good chance that your body truly is hungry. But if you have truly been eating balanced meals and adequate meals, then maybe it's just dehydration. So it's a lot of different things that come into the play to kind of determine that. But at any rate, that is definitely a good assessment to start. So filling up on fiber, holiday survival tip number 6, filling up on fiber. So snacking on vegetables, and other high fiber items like legumes or beans or nuts can help you feel fuller and longer, and to help you to save room for that dessert. Because again, remember, you want to go into that meal ready to eat so you can enjoy it all, but you don't want to go into that meal starving, because then that'll backfire, and then you'll end up eating more calories than you even thought you saved. Okay. And so snacking on fiber-rich foods leading up to the main event is an excellent way. It is an excellent way to avoid overeating. And then when you have the big feast, make sure you're putting those veggies. There's usually some kind of veggie on the menu when you're having the feast. So make sure that you have that on your plate as well. All righty. And let's see here. So here's another poll question for you. So when you feel good, so if you feel good when you're strong enough to say no to your favorite food being dangled in your face. So respond yes if there's something you want. So we'll use this German chocolate cake, okay? And I'm trying to lose weight. I got all these goals going on, and I just exercise. I exercise for an hour that morning. So I'm going to say no to this German chocolate cake. Okay. So does that make you feel accomplished? Does that make you feel good when you're able to do that with your favorite food, or something that you feel like it tempts you? Okay. Now, there's a hook here, right? So, I'm about to throw a hook at you. So take caution though, when you answer this question, because we have the best intentions when we're trying to say no, feel strong, feel in control. Okay. Self-assess. Okay. So are you saying no because you got all these goals, health goals, weight goals, or are you saying no because you truly don't want it? Okay. Sometimes those lines are gray. Sometimes, especially if you've been restricting and you haven't really been eating enough. And so that's why it's very, very important to have a balanced meal and you're getting your nutrients, so those signals don't get mixed up. So you want to be really careful, because you may say no now, but what happens the next day, or what happens later on in the evening? So you have to think, at some point we kind of unravel, and we don't always attribute it to, oh, I should have just ate a piece of cake and I wouldn't have ate this whole, XYZ. So think about that. So it's sometimes, like I said, it's a very gray area. So that's something that this is why weight loss is more than just about weight loss. Okay, there's so many other variables that we need to make sure that are in place that feed into our choices of what we eat. All right. And so what is the big takeaway message for today? And this is also holiday tip number 7. Okay. So take it easy with the white stuff. So what do I mean by that? Take it easy with the white stuff. And so this tip works in conjunction with number 6, where we want to fill up on fiber. And so carbs, simple carbs. We have complex carbs, which is your whole stuff with the fiber, all the good stuff that they want us to eat, the whole wheat and beans and potatoes and stuff like that. But then you also have your simple carbs, which is more your sweets and your highly processed foods and things like that. But during the holiday season, what's more plentiful? Okay, the complex carbs with all the fiber and nutrients, or the simple carbs where things have been stripped and we've added sugar and oil and butter and things like that. So that's usually what we see more of during the holiday. And so these foods, they provide energy, but they lack the nutrients. And so it's false energy. It's false energy. Yeah, you're gonna get a high, but then you're also gonna crash and burn, right? And so that's why we want to have a balance. So find recipes. I encourage you to find recipes that have healthier versions of some of your favorite holiday foods that have a few of that in the mix. Or if you have your traditional food, it's grandma's recipe, you don't want to mess it up. That's important to make sure you're fueling yourself good before the meal and throughout the day. And then you limit that to just one meal, not three meals and snacks, and because that's how we gain weight and that's how we start to really backfire in the enjoyment of the holiday foods and indulging. Then it sits on us and we start feeling bad. And so go into this month, we want to continue to think about the Christmas holidays as being fun, and we want to have lots of food, but we also want to have balance. So we want to think about all that. So still incorporate your whole grains, your fruits, your veggies, your nuts, your low-fat dairy while still enjoying your holiday favorites. So just don't discount it for several, for a whole week. So figure out a way to still integrate it all together. So cave into your holiday favorite foods in moderation, okay? And so we talked about how you put all this into practice. So that's what that link was about that I had posted earlier. I'm gonna put it back up here again. How do we put it all into practice? And so that's what this 3-day meal plan is about. It has recipes, itemized grocery lists, a meal prep guide. So you know exactly what to eat and when, especially when you're not in the holiday seasons where you can follow all the meals. But during the holiday season, I just say, hey, pick a couple of them just to have on deck so you have something that you're eating prior to the meal. And some of the benefits when you're actually able to follow the full 3-day meal plan is a surge of energy. So think about that afternoon slump around that 2 to 4-ish. That's usually when we all crash and burn. The benefits of satisfying meals that will help to keep your cravings at bay. It's all about controlling your cravings. Will they go away? No. Every now and then you will have them, but you want to control them. That's usually the challenge that people have, is they can't control the cravings. And you want to wake up feeling energized, refreshed, ready to take on the day with real energy from food, okay? That's where you want to get it from versus a supplement or caffeine or things like that. And it's really designed to help jumpstart your weight loss as well. So think about that as you're following the 3-day meal plan. And so I'm excited that soon and very soon, I will have an updated version of this. And so I will update this to 5 days. So you'll have 5 full days of meal plans and recipes. So that is coming really, really soon. And so use this to supplement a couple of your meals on Christmas Day, and even during the leftovers. Limit your leftovers to one meal, okay? That will save you from gaining the extra weight. One way to save you, all right? And so thank you for tuning in. White stuff everywhere. I know, right? That's the holidays. My family is no different. I try to have some things, but you have your traditions, and you should. You should. Again, you only have it once a year, or maybe twice. So thank you all for tuning in. This concludes what I have for your weekly dose of wellness news for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I'm Sandra, your RDN. Thank you for tuning in live. If you're listening to the replay, thank you for tuning in, and feel free to comment and join in, and I will look through the thread. So if you have any questions or comments, I will respond to you. And so next week, we're going to continue on this series of 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly, Food Galore. We're going to talk about holiday spirits, okay? That time of the year. So how do you include the holiday spirits without the holiday pounds as well, and having, you don't have to recover the next day too. So we don't want to have to recover as well, but holiday spirits are definitely popular this time of the year. So thank you for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day and be blessed. Bye-bye.